Currently the morning of the 11th of June 2025 here in the Western Pacific. We don't have a named storm system yet, but for the first time here in 2025, we do have JTWC warning on this area here, likely going to be called Wu-Tip by JMA. JMA doesn't have it upgraded to a tropical storm as of recording this yet, though, which is kind of interesting. You know, whenever we see JTWC upgrade these storms, JMA hasn't, so you don't have the nomenclature for the name yet. The point is, though, this is likely going to be called Wu-Tip, likely going to be making landfall, maybe even as a typhoon in southern Hainan, but as I've said in my last few updates, it's not about the low-level center of this track. It's about the broad circulation. You look at the satellite imagery, I mean, we have convection all the way back here across parts of Vietnam. The low-level center is right in here, so it's kind of displaced from the bulk of the convection. And we're seeing that monsoonal inflow even all the way back towards the Philippines. So this is not going to get that O-ring nomenclature name, but what we are going to continue to see is that inflow with continued impacts for Luzon and parts of Visayas. So yeah, we're going to continue to break this down here for you, friends. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. By the way, if you're new here, I know a lot of us are subscribers that come back for these daily updates. I really want to thank you very much for that continued support. And yeah, look at this. So our low-level center is right in here. You can really see on the satellite imagery the broad circulation. It's almost like, oh, I want to go through that again, because it's almost like, here's your low-level center, and look closely, that this is all rotating around this low, which is why we kind of called this monsoonal gyre, because this is all almost flowing together with the overall atmosphere. So we don't have this low of a center, but we have this convection, the energy from this spread out over not only tens of miles, but hundreds, maybe thousands of miles, extending east of the Philippines, all the way up towards the east coast of Vietnam here. And you can really see it here on this imagery with that wind flow. And that's why the rain continues to be one of the main threats. It's all about that moisture inflow with showers. So this may be upgraded to a typhoon, damaging winds, you know, in that right front quadrant, possible even spreading away from the low-level center. So that means Hong Kong too. And yeah, we're also looking at high winds out here towards the west coast of the Philippines. Look at Manila. You know, you're going to be seeing a little bit of that inflow coming in. And any of those high winds racing across up along the coastline of Guangdong province over towards Hong Kong. So yeah, Hainan's not just going to be the only spot kind of seeing the worst of this weather, is my point. It's a broad area. But I mean, if you are in some of these spots where this is going to be coming on shore, if you do get those signal force warnings in Hong Kong or into China, yeah, I'm sure you already got typhoon alerts out. Make sure we're following those, taking them seriously. As far as the heaviest of the rainfall, though, we're near that low-level center, likely going to be into the coastal areas of Hainan. But yeah, even over towards the east coast of Vietnam, we're going to be looking at some of this heavy rain adding upwards about 100 to 200 millimeters. Hong Kong, the worst of it, likely will be on Friday here as it starts to push and you really get those winds kicking up, but it's not going anywhere over the weekend. I was hoping it would back off a little bit by the weekend, but still looks pretty messy. Where it will see a little bit better over the weekend is for the Philippines, because this broad circulation is going to generally switch towards the north. So by Saturday and the Sunday, yeah, there's some isolated showers, but generally a good portion of the Philippines is going to be a lot drier as just this river of moisture meanders and it shifts its track and pushing that whole monsoonal gyre further towards the north. But still, you know, we're looking at some decent additional rain totals for western areas of Luzon and western areas of Mindoro. Of course, anytime we're talking about all this rain, we're talking about that flood threat. So make sure you're staying weather aware, listening to those local agencies and the local advisories that come with this. But yeah, for sure, some of the worst of the impacts are going to be here in Hainan. You can see that moisture just wrapping through. I mean, if this does make typhoon intensity, you're going to see some pretty good winds there. But like I said, it's all about that monsoonal gyre flow. So some high winds or even tropical storm strength are going to extend well away from the center. And, you know, that may not be enough to topple all the trees around you or anything like that, but loose furniture, things like that, loose items outside. I say loose furniture, I meant lawn furniture, loose items, definitely get tossed a bit. Plus, I mean, if I lived along coastal areas here of Southeast China, I would probably be parking my cars maybe on the northwestern side away from wherever the winds are going to be coming from, especially here in Hong Kong. Like towards the harbor is going to be better, but the ocean facing side, not some pleasant weather here, just because you're the position of where you are in that right front quadrant as those winds really start to rip on shore through Friday and into Saturday. So make sure you're staying smart, you're staying weather aware, friends. I'm going to continue to keep you posted, of course, on our system here and how it's going to impact not only the Philippines, but Hainan and southern areas of China. And currently, you know, it may not be a named storm, but still looking like we're going to have a tropical storm and potentially even typhoon impacts if the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is correct, which, you know what, they're one of the better agencies in the world here. They Pegasi does a great job, JMA does a great job, but JTWC, I might be a little biased because I was in the Navy. They do a fantastic job of warning systems and even picking up on rapid intensification and stuff like that. So always checking with them here on the first warning of 2025 in the Western Pacific. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to support this channel, check out our Patreon down below. Stay safe out there, friends.